පවුලේ සැමට ගිල්ස් වෙතින් සොසේජස් වර්ග රැසක් ගිල්ස් සොසේජස් සිනහ සපිරි කටට රසක්.
Well, good evening and a very warm welcome to The Turning Point Corporate Sri Lanka in association with Supreme TV and LNW. Now then, rebuilding Sri Lanka again. What an unfortunate country we are. But one thing for certain, Sri Lanka is full, overflowing with resilience. Don't you agree? Our guest this evening is former advisor, senior advisor to the Ministry of Finance, and did his stint at the Securities and Exchange Commission, from which he went to the Ministry of Finance. But he's also here to tell us about rebuilding Sri Lanka, the challenges ahead. Mr. Malik Cader. Good evening, Malik, and thank you very much for coming on the program.
Good evening, Faraz, and it's always nice to be on the program.
Thank you, thank you. You're very kind indeed. The cyclone Ditwa, it seems almost like a fatwa. Sri Lanka has been unfortunately hit. Just as we had reserves and of 6.4 billion and so on, which we'll talk about, Sri Lanka has been affected again. Absolute devastation. They estimate rebuilding cost at around 4 billion. What is corporate Sri Lanka going to do?
For us, again and again, right, the simple question you've been asking, right, rebuilding Sri Lanka. We have gone through this. This is not new to us, right? We have been very resilient, right? For instance, take the tsunami, right? People thought that Sri Lanka is gone. Right? Then in 2020, right, 21, right, we had the economic crisis, right? We were in queues, right? And a lot of people gave up hope on Sri Lanka, and some of them even left, right? The very selfish, right, unpatriotic people left the country.
You sound like Mahinda Rajapaksa, who said that there are people either who are patriotic and that means they like him, or they didn't like him and therefore they were unpatriotic. What are you talking about?
For us, people go for comfort, right? They found Sri Lanka at that time not comfortable, right? Then we had the pandemic coming. That is we stood in queues to get that injection, which was ultimately water, right? I mean, we were taken for a good ride, right? And so Sri Lanka actually fell down, right, with these queues. But as you say, right, we are very strong and hard, right, level-headed. We have come back. Even this situation, that this happened basically about 2 weeks ago, the country is up and running. You just mentioned to me before the program, right, foreigners are still coming.
Indeed.
Even with the pandemic.
A few days ago, we had a luxury super cruise liner, but 2,000 people. On the 12th of this month, 160 tourists are coming here. The cyclone and the devastation hasn't put them off. Actually, they're probably coming in the wider ambit of helping Sri Lanka.
Yes, I mean, you're right in saying that because airports are full, right? Airlines are getting crowded, right? And then this winter season is going to be the same winter season that was planned by the travel agents and by Sri Lanka.
But how are we going to, what is corporate Sri Lanka going to do? I mean, to get to Nurelia is more than a challenge these days because of the damage. Ramboda, there is a luxury villa there. They can't even get to it because the road's just kind of washed away. And no amount of Land Rovers or whatever, four-wheel drives are going to help you to get there. What's corporate Sri Lanka going to do? How are we going to come out of this?
For us, we might have issues here and there, right? But the greater picture is that things will fall in line, and it is also falling in line. In fact, I saw a clip by, I don't know whether it's the Nurelia mayor or the hotel association from Nurelia, right, telling us that basically everything is tickety-boo, right? Vehicles are going even on a single lane.
It's very positive.
Yeah, very positive. Even on a single lane, vehicles are starting to go. But I think the season of giving and taking for the Europe's, right, is the winter, and I think down south is going to be it's going to
Whilst the
happen.
people of Europe and the people of India, mustn't forget India, the largest contingent of visitors into this country is from India. And historically, we have European visitors. Yes, individually they're coming, they're de facto helping our country. But I'm a bit concerned that the level of pledges made thus far in trying to get Sri Lanka out of this malaise and this devastation is rather little, Malik.
You're right. I mean, you came up with a figure of $4 billion US dollars. I would think that will be less than that, maybe about 3 billion, right? As
What's a
lot
billion
of-
amongst
yeah,
friends, Malik?
right.
You know?
A billion US.
Yes,
right?
but what I'm saying is,
But now that is about that's about 50% of our reserves.
yes, but coming back to our reserve position, we had approximately 6.4 billion US dollars. But we have to remember we need to take minus 1.5 billion, which is the Chinese swap.
Yeah.
So from 6.4 to 1.5 is how much is that? I mean, it's 4.9 billion net. But there are even more swaps to minus from that. So perhaps the real value of our reserves is more like 3 billion.
So with the 3 billion, Faraz, if a 3 billion goes for the Ditwa,
Yeah.
right?
Cyclone Ditwa.
Cyclone Ditwa, we'll be left with hardly any.
We're back to, goodness me, do you think we'll have kills again?
Right. So those are things we have to work. For instance, the 3 billion they're talking about spending, we'll have a time span for that. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow.
But, in the meantime, as we talk about our resilience and all of that, and we may not have anything left in the pot, there are mega investments. 1.2 billion Sri Lanka's John Keel's Holdings borrowed to do the City of Dreams project. This is not a plug for them, by the way, but I have to mention the names. We're talking up on an open. We're talking corporate Sri Lanka, ladies and gentlemen. So they had the vision to do that. They may not be making the kind of returns that they expected, but they've made it. They're in it, and they're going to have to swim or they're going to sink.
For us, those investments are very necessary for Sri Lanka.
Absolutely.
Right? Let me tell you, I think on
And then
your program.
and then we have Mr. Damika Pereira, who's buying and buying.
Right. I remember on your program there was this tax consultant, Mr. Gajendran,
Yeah.
who came on the program, and basically he
was
articulated.
last week, yes.
he articulated very well the current budget situation. Where actually, for us, the budget was good, but this particular aspect of the budget, I'm very sad to say.
Which aspect?
The aspect of basically they're trying to suppress entrepreneurs, right, getting up, right. They're actually trying to destroy the SMEs, right, on this particular budget. What I'm trying to tell you is they brought the threshold of VAT from 60 million per year to 36. If I was around there in the ministry, my advice would be increase the 60 to 100 because you will get a better collection into your kitty, right? By increasing it to 100. By decreasing it to 36, for us, what you're doing is 3 million per year or per month, an entrepreneur, right, or a SME will have to start paying VAT. I'm not trying to say that paying VAT is wrong, right? But at the beginning, you're telling this man, you're running a boutique, right? You're having like a Badkade, right? Which has good business, 100,000 rupees a day.
Yeah.
Now you're telling him, look here, pay another 18%, charge it from the client.
Yeah.
18%, right? On your rice, right? And then at the end of it, his profits are not going to be that big. Net will be about 10%, although gross is about 40 on food, right? You take 10, out of the 10 again, right? You're whacking him, right, on, right, a 30%, right, tax at the end of the year.
Isn't
right?
this the penalty of...
So the thing is this, will a young man or an entrepreneur be motivated to go on this journey, right? You're stopping him. You're telling him, yeah, these are the things you have to remember. It's not very complimentary. You need to encourage entrepreneurs to come. You need more people to come into the system. And then with about 100 million, right, threshold,
Yeah.
right, at some stage, they're going to say, okay, let's pay, right? So those are the things for us. I think we have missed. But I think it's 1st of January, 1st of April, right? The budget is going to kick off. These things can still get adjusted. The moment you do that, right, you get more entrepreneurs coming into the market.
We're 11 minutes into our program, Mr. Cader. This is Corporate Sri Lanka on Supreme TV in association with Turning Point and LNW.
Leading food processing since 2001. State-of-the-art facility, global standards, certified for quality. Trusted by global restaurant chains airlines. Delivering premium processed food worldwide.
And I've got another question. It's a question. The Honorable Sajid Premadasa, leader of the opposition, has come up with one of the most interesting propositions that I've heard of in a long time. And that is, he says that there is a need for a new budget because to take into account the very recent climate impact on our country. Do you think that's a good idea? Because when this budget was put out, there was no Cyclone Ditwa.
Yeah.
And now there is.
Yeah, there was no expenditure on a 3 billion, right, as we discussed
Yes,
a
it's,
little while
it's
ago.
an unusual.
Right. So you might need to, right, bring certain disciplines into the whole system. Right. One of the things I mentioned, what the Honorable Opposition Leader mentioned a couple of days ago, right, to talk to Trump, right, rather than talking to the EMF, right. I'm certainly not in that direction. But what I feel, Faraz, in this whole scenario where foreign investment to Sri Lanka is concerned, we need big tickets to fall onto our lap. I know BOI is doing a very good job. I think the government also, the president has appointed the current governor of the Western Province, who is an entrepreneur, who can see things big, right, as a foreign advisor on forein investment. For us, we need to get a big ticket to fall on us. As I think
So, but the big
Mr. who Gajendran mentioned, get a Samsung to come here, right? Let them give us 100,000 jobs.
But yes,
Give them whatever they want,
Yeah.
right? Tax cuts, fine, because the larger picture, we are going to benefit ultimately, right? I was just thinking about, well, when you get a Tesla to come here, they might not come, but let's get people to think in those lines.
the pure electric vehicles are not the domain, the sole preserve of Tesla. But, you know, we have, what's it called now, Skylink?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's right.
No, we have Skylink.
Yeah.
It's already here. Musk is the owner.
Yes.
Who should we send? Should we send AKD? Should we send Harini? Should we send Vijay Herat? Should we send Mr. Balendran from JK? Should we send Damika Pereira from Haley's to go and talk with this guy, talk business, talk dollars and cents, and get him to come here?
Exactly, Faraz, you hit it on the head, okay? We need that kind of people like a Damika Pereira or a Balin. We need to have that people with investment flavor who can go out there and capture.
I've got also another name which I've inadvertently forgotten. Not forgotten, but just slipped out of my mind. And that is, of course, the current co-chairman of Haley's, Mr. Panditagay.
Yes.
Mr. Panditagay is Haley's himself because he joined it all those years ago. And he's like a 24/7 chairman. But isn't that type of person that we need? We need dynamic people like the Damikas of this world and so on, to go out there and talk on a level field to people like Musk.
Exactly, Faraz. You said it right. You said it exactly right. You need dynamic people. Why you said dynamic is because we lack that dynamic type of people.
There are other
Currently-
dynamic
no,
Sri Lankans
current-
who are
no.
living in Dubai
No,
and so on.
currently we lack that in the administration. We need that business flavor, even in regulatory bodies, right? We have academics. We need to have professionals. We need to have the flavor of that industry reflected in
I
those
mean,
organizations.
But Malik, there are many entrepreneurs, dynamic people who've built their businesses during the war years. Just imagine if there was no war. And therefore, back to the present, what do we lack? Who do we send? Who can be out there and say to Elon Musk, even if he doesn't give an appointment,
Elon Musk-
you've got to doorstep him?
Elon
Or shall
Musk-
we send Ranil there?
No, Elon Musk, you said it right, because he basically currently is not in the best health with the American administration, right? So us going to him, right? We need to get people to think on those lines. Maybe he might not basically open the door
There
for
are
us.
lots of people.
We might not-
I only mentioned a few names. There are people, unnamed people, some of whom will be appearing on Corporate Sri Lanka in the few weeks' time.
Good.
Please tune in and do subscribe to us.
You're already having one.
Well, we have got lots of people who can do this. And I believe, so don't you think the role of government is to facilitate all of that?
You need to basically, I think they are compartmentalized at the moment, right? We are the professionals and we are the type of dynamic people you are thinking of, right? They have to open up. They have to open up. They have to actually, for us, they have to think, they need to get people who will think big. There's this, now the story they say, you must aim at the stars. Aim at the stars, right?
And then-
Have people, right, who could aim, who could think big, right?
And then you reach the light bulb?
You at least will reach the light bulb, or you will hit a coconut tree and a couple of coconuts will fall. But remember, you have been elevated from where you are.
We could, I'm not trying to make a joke of it, but what do you think of Dr. Archanam,
Yeah.
the MP from Jaffna? He's a bit outspoken. But I consider him to be like Mervyn Silva. Mahinda Rajapaksa deployed Mervyn Silva. He deployed Vimal Weerawansa. They had loud mouths. But don't you need somebody open, but the corporate version of that?
Yeah, but I think the MP you're talking about doesn't have a Mahinda Rajapaksa or or a person, right, who could
back him?
basically who could back him and who could take it. But for us, one thing is democracy. He has been elected by the people of this country, right? And certainly from Jaffna. He got a fair amount of votes, if I'm not mistaken. Did he get the highest number of votes?
I can't
I
say.
also
All I
can't
know
remember.
is that a person by the name of Anur Kumar Dissanayake won the presidential election on the second count, and therefore the presumption is that he got the most votes.
Yes, so I think he got a fair amount of votes, right? In fairness to him. And he is the representative of the people of the Northern Province, right? So he has to be there. Now the question is whether he's talking, right? He talks a lot, right?
Whether he's
So
talking
what?
rubbish or whether he's talking fact.
For us, I mean, you're talking about Mervyn Silva and people like that, but there were certain facts they bring to the table, right? And I have been listening to him. He's a doctor,
Yeah.
right? He's a professional, right?
Yeah.
So he has read, right? Certainly, right?
But the
So
poor
he-
chap can't go to Jaffna Hospital unless he goes there as a patient.
Yeah, so he'll need to do that if he wants to visit the hospital. But nevertheless, you need people like that. You need a balance, right? You need that balance. So I think he creates that balance in Parliament, right? And keeps the place going.
There are lots of people, Malik. Whilst you're talking, my mind's been set off like a wildfire. We have the Member of Parliament, now Member of Parliament, but who knows what's in the future. But previously, the entrepreneur Dilip Javira, for example. He started from virtually nothing. He's now got he's got a media station.
Yeah.
He's got a hot shot advertising agency and so on. So there are people here. But the question is to identify who can go and talk one-to-one with Elon Musk and see whether he can come and build his Teslas off Kurunegala somewhere.
Right. Kurunegala, maybe give him 1,000 acres. That's okay.
Could be in Jaffna.
Yeah,
I couldn't care
if he
less.
brings, if he gives us 100,000 people, employment to 100,000 people, that is the way forward.
But
That is
how
the way
possible is it though?
The thing is this: we have to try, right?
Do we have the necessary structure in place?
All those structures can fall in line for us, right? If we have something positive on that side and what is needed, right? I think, as you said, this country is resilient, right? We'll have a lot of geopolitical issues if things like that happen, but we need to manage them, right? So we have this country. This country is blessed.
Is there anything that you can say? Well, the government isn't doing that, but I wish they can do whatever.
No, so the thing is this: they need to open up. They need to bring
Open up what?
dynamic. No, open up their minds, right? To bring up dynamic people, right, with capabilities to go.
But surely they're dynamic enough in the sense that they managed to persuade enough people to have 159 seats in parliament.
We're talking about two different things for us, right? Those 159 people should now start thinking, right? How can we get these big tickets to fall onto a table, right? Big ones, not 10, 15 millions. You're talking about this Elon Musk. Yes, we need maybe a couple of $1 billion investments to come into this country.
But didn't we do well by getting Starlink here?
No, it's good that we got Starlink, right? But that is basically we linked up to a satellite. That's certainly good. But now we need to go to the next level, right? Starlink is here. We get the big man of Starlink, right, to come and put his foot here, not his foot on a satellite.
It was the former president Wickremesinghe who actually met him.
Yes. So that's the way forward.
So is Sri Lanka democratic and open-minded enough to deploy the services of one Ranil Wickremesinghe to try and do this as a special whatever?
If the need arises for us, we should do this, because what happens is this is not a political party A, B or C. You're talking about Sri Lanka. You're talking about the country. They will have to forget about all those things and see how best, right, we, through corporate Sri Lanka, take this country forward.
And what do you think? How long do you think it'll take to get our roads and everything back in order?
It'll take maybe 2 to 3 years. My guess is that I might be wrong, right? But at least about 2 to 3 years, right? We need to work on those things. If we can get it faster than that, fine. Because I think our railway has been damaged severely. So we need to do a lot of work on the railway. And then the roads, yes.
Pauli semita gills within sausages warga rasa. Gills sausages. Sinaha sapiri katatu rasa.
Yes, I mean the railway has been damaged and so on. But also, Malik, if I read rightly, in the last few days, the president has made various announcements. It appears that the government have a plan, they know what they're doing, and they've announced a whole series of measures, haven't they, Malik?
Yeah, I think the president made announcements in parliament, and I must say he has been very lavish.
Well, I mean, 400,000 for farmers, 25,000 rupees for people to clean up their houses, and another regular payment of 50,000 if you're more than two in the family for 3 months, starting December, January, February, and for 2.5 million to rebuild and repair. And if you don't have a house and you don't have a land either, then it's 5 million. So the president is being rather lavish, isn't he?
That's a lot of money, and I must say he's very generous in doing so. But the question, I think, which he has not basically, he should also say that from where is the money coming?
Well, we've got 4 billion, 4 point something billion, 4.9 billion reserves after minusing the Chinese amount.
Yeah, but for us,
Can't we use that?
No, I don't think just because you have all the money there in the reserves, all that money can be used for this purpose. I don't know. I'm suspecting that the public of this country will have to pay for that at some stage.
The public in this country always pays for everything.
Okay, maybe pay more, right, in form of taxes.
But
If not-
surely we are at the top end of the taxes. We can't be continuing. We can't tax our way out of trouble, can we?
You're right. You're right. But the thing is, the president also should have told us, right, from where this money is coming and how much this is costing. Right. Without that, it's very difficult for us to discuss, right, the way forward.
The British have a very nice way of answering that. They say the president, you said the president should tell us where the money came from. And the British would say, all in the fullness of time.
Yeah, but what is the fullness of time now for Sri Lanka?
The time is now. The time is now.
Yes.
The people are suffering now. The people are suffering now. We need action now. We don't want words. We need all party action. We can't be having partisan politics, can we?
Yeah, you're right for us. I mean, the time is now. People are feeling it now. You need to hold their hands. You need to give them whatever is necessary for them to come up, right? Which is a very noble and a good thing done by the president. But in the meantime, you might also need to do the calculation and tell the people, right, what is the cost of this?
I'll
and how.
ask Dr. Anil Jayanta when I interview him next week. In the meantime, thank you very much, Malik Cader, for being on Corporate Sri Lanka Turning Point in association with LNW. Take care. Have a great week ahead of you. And as always, God bless you all.
ඉහළම ප්‍රමිතිය නොනවතින රස්ස සමග චීස් and onion sausages, කොච්චි sausages, garlic sausages. ගිල් සිනහ සපිරි කටට රසක්.